In this world full of you need to be authentic, you need to be aesthetic, you need to be like this and that, I'm just here to remind you, please be you, be yourself. And being yourself doesn't mean that you can't change certain things about yourself. Of course, in this topic, we're going to talk about transformation, levels of transformation, how to go about changing what you don't like. But you can't change what you don't like if you're not you. If you're someone else, you're living someone else's life. You're doing things which you're actually not proud of. So I just want to let you know that please be you, be yourself, learn to appreciate certain things about self. Because at the end of the day, you're still gonna get judged. Yes, you're still gonna get judged. Take this instance. If you do it, they will say, why didn't you do it the right way? If you don't do it, we knew you're always lazy. You can't take up opportunities. You can't do anything. It's like in the Bible when they say, can anything good come out of Nazareth? You will always get judged. But that should not be a reason for you not to change. And not just to change, but not to transform. And so in this topic, of course, I'm going to tell you the levels of transformation. But even before we get to that, I want to remind you that nobody actually cares. They'll judge you. You'll get judged for doing it. You'll get judged for not doing it. But still, nobody cares. Take the case of influencers. When they have a drama tonight, let's say today, you will wake up, you will find it trending in TikTok, you'll find it trending in YouTube, you'll find it everywhere. They'll say, oh, this person, this thing happened, and people will give their opinions, right? But at the end of the day, everyone goes to bed, everyone will sleep. It's only you who will be there saying, oh, so they said this about me. I remember there's a time when I was called names, of course, but at the end of the day, the next morning, one thing which I really appreciate God for is that there's night and everyone gets to sleep. Like, even if you're good in the sight of people or you're bad, at the end of the day, everyone is gonna get to bed, and tomorrow someone else will be trending. And I think that's why we actually have breaking news. But even though we have these scenarios in life where you won't want to find yourself, be you, and be the best version of you. So I'm going to talk about 6 levels of transformation, and actually these are some things that I've actually implemented, and I can say for me, I have seen the change. I have it in my diary. There are 6 of them, and the first one is awareness. Of course, you have to be aware. Like I said, in the first thing is you have to be aware. You have to know, like, who is Chichi? What do I like doing? What value can I bring to others? What am I good at? Or what is my situation? And what do I want to change about that situation? Because if you don't understand who you are, you don't even know where you are. How are you going to change? How are you going to transform what you don't know? So you first have to be aware of who you are. You have to be aware of your situation. And then secondly, we have intention. Now, intention is a deliberate choice, right? You decide and say, I want to change my life. I want to level up. I want to improve. And then we don't just say, I want to improve. You write them down. You say, okay, I am Chichi, right? I'm good at singing, but I'm not best at it. So I want to make myself best at singing. Because for me, I always encourage people, mark your strengths, work on your strengths. That's the topic for another day. Mark your strengths, work on them, make them perfect. Because in the world of today, the value you bring determines if we are going to pay you or not. So if you're going to bring a value which we can get from AI, So anyway, the second thing is intention. You decide, I want to level up. Okay, how? Break it down. Have the goal. Write it You can break it into daily activities you can do. 3, we have decision. And when you're making a decision, it's like you're making a commitment, right? So number 1, you're aware of where you are, you're aware of the situation you are in, and then you have had this intention of moving forward, and so you decide to implement the things you've written down. You decide that, okay, the change, this is the goal, this is how I'm going to get to it, and then you work on it. And that brings us to the 4th thing, which is discipline. Now, discipline is consistency, right? You have to do it every day. Some people will tell you, if you want to change how you speak, or if you want to change something, you can actually just do it 2 days a week. I don't know how that works, but for me, if I want to change something about myself, I have to implement a daily activity that will help me prove that thing. Because if you're going to do it only twice a week, how many days do we have in a week, excluding the Sabbath? We have 6 days, right? And then you'll be only doing this thing for 2 days. The rest of the 4 days, you go back to your habit. Because remember, our brains also will always try to go back to the comfort zone. That is how we actually are. You will always try to go back to your comfort zone because change is painful. Change is very painful. So you need to be disciplined enough. You need to be consistent with whatever goal you've set, whatever change you want to achieve. Be consistent. 4th, we have recognition. While you become aware, while you have the intention, while you have decided to implement whatever you've decided, while you are already disciplined, consistent in your change journey, you have to recognize your growth. Now, this is something that most of us don't do. Most of the time, you just want to work and 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 work, which is not right. You need to sometimes sit down, appreciate yourself. Tell yourself, oh, Chichi, this year was tough. You did this, and that. What works for me is I like chocolate. So if I had something I really wanted to change and I've worked on it and I'm seeing that, we are there, Chichi, I buy myself chocolate. Or I take myself somewhere so nice. I just appreciate myself for the work I put in. I just show myself some sort of appreciation in any way. Or you can wake up in the morning and then you'll be like, we need to go for a vacation. I know sometimes you sit down, you see people going for vacation, you see people taking themselves places, you see people buying themselves things, and you're like, why are you wasting that money? It's not a waste. You have to recognize the difference you've made. You have to recognize the change. You have to appreciate yourself. Take this instance. If you are in a competition and then you become the best, what happens? They give you a reward. They don't just tell you, oh, that was so nice of you, thank you for coming, you can go home. You'll feel unappreciated. You'll feel like, is that how it works? We are human beings. So once you've seen the growth, you've noticed the progress, you've seen the shifts, please recognize it and do something about it. And lastly, I'm going to talk about celebration. Now, celebration can either bring you back to zero, or it can make you have a new thought or a new path to follow. Because sometimes when you decide to honor your achievements, sometimes you will get to that stage where you'll just now relax and say, oh, I have achieved it. Which is so dangerous, because you're not supposed to relax. Remember, at the second last stage was recognition. You recognize the growth, you appreciate yourself, right? And then, of course, you will celebrate it in different ways. You don't always have to have a party or something big, but you will celebrate it, right? So while you are celebrating it, please remember the main reason you even began the journey itself. Please remember that you are doing a transformation. Please remember that while you are here celebrating, people have been in that same shoe and they are even getting to better places. So don't get stuck in your celebration. Celebrate it, but move on. No? Celebrate it, but move forward. Have another goal. Have another objective. Don't just celebrate it and forget that there are things to be done. Be yourself, but level up yourself. Don't just be you and get stuck in being yourself. It is important for you to be yourself, the authentic self. It is important for you not to copy others. It is very important for you to be you, for me to be me. But it is also important for you and me to grow. So, with these 6 levels of transformation, I hope you're going to implement. I hope you're going to sit down with yourself, be aware of your situation, have an intention, make a decision, become disciplined, recognize the growth, celebrate it, and start again. Because we are human beings who are meant to grow each and every day. You don't grow once. No. Growth is something which happens every single day. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed by the best. See you in my next video.